Good afternoon, visionaries. I'm Mashara Bianca, your vision midwife. Happy Sunday to you all. I hope you had a great week. I most certainly did. Yesterday, I hosted yes, the second annual Black Business Expo downtown Orlando, and it was absolutely amazing to be in a place with so many visionaries that have birthed their vision and that were really doing their own thing. It was actually inspiring to see people just do. I mean, it's creativity everywhere. It's amazing the things that are going on here in Central Florida and the different businesses that are there. So it was absolutely fabulous to be a part of that. I gotta say thank you to my team again. We've talked about having a vision team before, so my vision team yesterday including my good friend Chrissy Dumas and my partner Van, and they held down my table for me to talk about some of the things I do while I actually hosted. So that's amazing to make sure that you have somebody on your team that believes in you and that supports you when you need them there. But today we kind of wanted to talk about your legacy, your life legacy. Recently, in recent headlines, we've heard about the killing of one of our very own officers here in Orlando, Florida, Master Sergeant Deborah Clayton, who was killed in pursuit of a suspect in a murder case, as well as this morning across the news feed on Facebook, we heard about the passing of Bishop Eddie Long, who was sick, and so today he went on to be in glory. But yesterday, on the way home from the Black Business Expo, we kind of stopped on the side of the road because we saw all of the traffic and the police cars were everywhere. And so the motorcade was getting ready to come through for Master Sergeant Clayton. And we decided to stop on the side of the road so that we could pay our respects to her. And so while we were there were several other people that were lined up. And, one of the things that I started to think about, especially when I got home, and like most of you saw the funeral yesterday, I got home and I was able to watch some of the funeral. And it was so clear about how many lives she impacted, about the things that she did in the community, and everybody just said so many positive things about her, about impacting the community and inspiring, and how she loved the children and she wanted to bridge the gap between police officers and our communities. And it was such an amazing piece to hear that. Of course, for me, this isn't the first time that I've had that revelation at a funeral. I've told you the story before about my grandmother. That actually, when my grandmother's death is the reason that I live today, is because at her funeral it was similar. My grandmother was my world, and she was a great role model to me. But that was just, I thought that was just because she was my grandmother. But then when at her funeral, people got up and said so many amazing things about her, from coworkers to church members to students that she's taught. I mean, just even some of the who's who in Orlando, sending notes and messages and things in regards to just how she impacted their lives. And so it was at that pivotal point in my life that I started to think about my legacy and what I'm leaving here on this earth and what people will say about me when I die. And so that's pretty much what I kind of wanted to talk to you all about. I know death is a hard thing to talk about. A lot of people don't like to talk about death, but we understand that we will die, that one day we will be, the Bible says to be absent with the body is to be present with God. So we do understand that one day we will not be here. Our body will no longer be here because we will have ascended and gone on to glory to be with God. But we have a certain allotted time on this earth to kind of do what God has called us to do. I've seen a quote before that says the two important days in your life are your birthday and your death date. Everything else in between, it's what you make it, right? And so that's what I wanted to ask you. The question for this video is, what will your life say about you? We are the ones who control what our life says about us. We are the one who writes our own legacy. And for a very long time, my fear was that I did not want to leave this earth and not impact others and do what God has called me to do on this earth. And I know a lot of you feel the same way. And so I want you to understand that getting wrapped up in when you're going to die and how you're going to die is not as important as making sure that the life you live it impacts others. That even though that you die, that the life you live is so legendary and such a legacy that it lives on forever. That's the kind of life that we want to live. And so I want you all to really start to think about your life, the people you're involved with, the people you associate with, the things you do on a regular basis. How is it impacting others? How is it building my legacy? Nobody wants to think that people will get up and say anything bad about them at their funeral, and I'm sure that they won't. But have you lived a life worth talking about? Have you lived a life worthy of people taking time out to even come to your funeral? Have you lived a life that would impact and inspire other people and motivate them to move and do some changes on your behalf, because ultimately that's what our life is about. Our life is about being the light to other people, so much so that even when we leave this earth, we still have impacted them and they still carry that with them, and then they can again do the same thing to somebody else. It's kind of like a ripple effect. You impact somebody, you show the light for them, and they take it on and they do the same thing until it becomes a worldwide phenomenon. And so I just want us all to be at a place to where we understand that death is going to come. As much as we don't want to talk about it, it's going to come. But not talking about it doesn't make it not come. So what you need to start thinking about is, what am I doing today that is going to impact my life forever? What that is going to impact other people around me? Not just my family, not just my friends, but that is going to leave a major impact on this earth. Last week we talked about getting out the closet. Some of you can't even start thinking about moving forward because you can't get the things out of your closet because of things that have happened to you from people who are dead and gone on. So one of the things you have to do is be able to identify who you are and what about you can use to impact others. For me, it's my voice. It's my gift of gab. I'm so grateful that God has given me the ability to speak and motivate others. And that's what I'll do to the end of time, because I know that's a part of the vision that he has for me. But what is yours? What is that thing that God has called you to do? What is that thing that God has given you that will impact other people? Because my coach, Lakeisha Dixon, has always said to me, a gift is not a gift until it is given. Get that. A gift is not a gift until it is given. So even though God has given you these tremendous gifts, until you physically give it to somebody else, it's not a gift. It's just something you have. And it hasn't impacted anyone. Master Sergeant Clayton used her gift. She was a police officer. She used her knowledge. She used her ability. She used her love for people to bridge the gap between the black community and police officers. To bridge the gap between young people in the community and police officers. That was her gift. Bishop Eddie Long used his pulpit to bring people to God. That was the gift that God gave him. What is your gift? It might not be those particular things. My partner is an artist. She uses her gift to get the message of God out, to get the message of love and acceptance for everybody out. Some people are beauticians who use their gift to make you feel beautiful on the outside, to help you transform on the inside. They do hair for the homeless to help them get to a point to where they can start tapping in to some of their gifts. You understand what I'm saying? We all have a gift that we've been given by God, that he's given us to impact others. The problem is, I don't want you to wait too late. Don't be one of the ones that get caught up in trying to figure it out, or get caught up in the how I'm going to die, or get caught up in the hoopla of society, that you lose focus on what you've been called to do. We have been called to change the world. We have been called to impact other people. That is what we've been called to do. And if you look at the lifespan, you don't have a lot of time to do it. I thank God that I'm 36. But I wish I would have known this at 20, because I could have been 16 years into being who he's called me to be. Not that I'm regretful. And I don't want you to start being regretful, but I want you to understand that you don't have the time anymore. You don't have the time to play around. You don't have the time to say, when this happens, this will happen. Or when I get this money, or when I get that job, or all I'm asking for. We get so wrapped up in the little stuff. I saw somebody talking about something got robbed over at the Millennium Mall, and everybody was all upset and concerned about it. That ain't yours. You don't own nothing in them people's stole. Nothing. They ain't got nothing to do with you. That was somebody else's vision. And the bottom line is, they vision insured. So they going to get money, and they going to still be able to move on their vision. What they got to do with you? Nothing. We got to get focused. We're so focused on other stuff. We're so focused on whether people of same gender can love each other, that we can't focus on loving everybody. We so focused on somebody being black, or somebody being the president, or somebody doing this, that we can't focus on what God told us to do. If you get so focused on your vision and the vision that God has for you, the vision that's going to impact lives, you ain't got time to worry about nobody else. You ain't got time to worry about how anybody else's vision is manifestation. How anybody else's vision is manifesting, because you're so focused on what God has called you to do that you don't have time to focus on anything else. And believe you me, that at the end of the day, when it's time to go to heaven, God ain't gonna look at you and judge you based on what anybody else is doing. He's gonna look at you and ask you, what have you done that I've asked you to do? And you ain't gonna be able to run back all of the other stuff that everybody else did. He ain't gonna be focused on nothing else that you was concerned about, but what he's asked you to do. We got to get real, y'all. We got to get to a point to where we're doing what we've been called to do. These people who have gone on to glory, they have done what they've needed. They've done what they were called to do. So while we're sad for them, they're in heaven rejoicing. The angels are rejoicing with them because they've made the impact on this earth that they have been designed and created to do. My question is, have you? Have you? If you died today, have you done what God has called you to do? If you died today, have you impacted those people that God has called you to impact? Have you done what you've been called to do? That is the question that I want to ask you for this week. And if your answer is yes, good. Continue doing it. Continue impacting. Continue motivating. Continue making changes and strides. You continue to do that. And if you haven't, now is the time to get started. Now is the time to get started. Put all that other stuff to the side and get started on being who God has called you to be so that you can leave a legacy just as those before you have. That's my video for this week, guys. As I said before, last week I had you do some stuff. The video is up on Facebook, as well as my YouTube channel, which is Mashara Bianca. I am still updating the website. I promise I'm going to get it, but she is a busy bee, and she is working on it by herself, so it's going to take a little bit. But go to my YouTube channel, Mashara Bianca, and you can look at all of the videos. I thank you for taking the time out to watch my videos this week. And this week, I want you to focus on your life, doing what you've been called to doing, and getting yourself at a point to where you're moving in what God has called you to be so that you can impact those who are on this earth. All right? That's it. Have a great day, visionaries.